Truth Unveiled here, and I'm here to share this with you all because I think it's really vital and important that you know. And I think it's vital and important that you all who are truthers out there really know how they're about to unveil this false Messiah and how they're about to do it. Now, if you look up Project Bluebeam right here, which I have done right here for you, it's called Project Bluebeam. Of course, you have debunked, hoax, all this, lies, but this is how NASA, the infamous space program, this is how they will, in fact, bring about their Project Bluebeam, their false Messiah, Satan himself. Now, if you can check out all these files yourself, but I just like this one because it's very self-explanatory. This is, let me try to expand this a little bit, but this is basically talking about a transcript that Serge Monast, a French-speaking Canadian journalist, was talking about in cahoots with the presentation that he did about Project Bluebeam and about what NASA is planning to unveil. And if we read this report, this is what he says. Our task is to make the people realize that the coming of the New World Order is not a dream, neither a paranoid thought. It is a real satanic undergoing project. For what? Why are they doing this? One, to abolish all Christian traditional religions in order to replace them by a one world religion based on the cult of man. Two, to abolish all national identity and national pride in order to establish a world identity and world pride. To abolish the family known today in order to replace it by individuals all working for the glory of one world government. To destroy all individual artistic and scientific creating works to implement a world's government, one mindset. Now remember, this was a taping that was done, a recording of an audio recording. So keep that in mind too. So some of the spelling, and everything may not be the greatest. But he goes on to say, and I recommend you read the entire report to its entirety. He goes on to talk about the classification of where certain prisoners will be. But then he goes on to talk about how this infamous project will be implemented, how the false Messiah will come. He says the famous NASA Bluebeam project has 4 different steps, 4 parts toward the implementation of the New World Religion with the Antichrist at its head. And we must remember that the New World Religion is the basic foundation for the New World government. Without that New World Religion, such government, such worldwide dictatorship is completely impossible. That's why the project is not only so important to them, but was so well kept secret to now. And he revealed this back in the 1990s. Okay, the first step concerns the breakdown of all archaeological knowledge. It deals with the setup of earthquakes at certain precise locations of the planet, quote unquote planet, we know it's a plane, where supposedly new discoveries will suddenly explain for them the wrong meaning of all major religions' basic doctrines. What this basically means, in other words, is that they're going to target certain positions on the map, certain locations on the map, like ancient locations and different places that have like pillars and things like that, like Stonehenges as well. They're going to manufacture earthquakes at these specific targets and locations and then say that, oh, now we found new evidence. Oh, now we found groundbreaking evidence that proves religion was wrong after all. This classification used to make the population believe that all religious doctrines have been misunderstood and misinterpreted have already started with the field of psychological preparation for populations. For the first step has been prepared through films like 2001: A Space Odyssey, the series, Star Trek, okay, and Star Wars. Wow. And what movie just came out not even a week ago? The 7th Star Wars movie, 7 days before Christmas, before the full moon Christmas. Just like in 1977, the first Star Wars came out 7 months before the full moon in 1977, the Christmas full moon. is is this a coincidence? So we know this deals with space invasion and space protection. And the last film, Jurassic Park, dealing with the theory of evolution. Jurassic Park, that film came out in the summertime, or Jurassic World, or whatever it's called. So the first step is that those earthquakes will hit at different parts of the world where scientists and archaeological teachings have been taught in the past, where supposedly there were some quote unquote hidden secrets. That is the first preparation for the plan of humanity, because they want to strike down and shake up all the beliefs of quote unquote Christians and believers of the true creator any way they can. Okay? They need to prove it, and they need to make you believe that it's false, and that everything that has to do with religion, everything that has to do with the truth, everything that has to do with the creator is false, when in fact they're lying to you, and they're using psychological operations like the films and TV to make you believe these lies, like Star Wars, Jurassic Park, and all of them. Okay? The second step deals with the gigantic space show with 3D optical holograms and sounds, laser projections of multiple holographic images to different parts of the world, each receiving different images according to predominating regional, national, religious faith. This new God's image will be talking in all languages. Then and then it goes down to say that they even have the technology so that they can implement this Godhead or God figure to talk in various languages. What does this mean? In other words, what they're going to do is they're going to basically turn the sky into a big space show, into this big, gigantic movie screen. They're going to put images of the different gods of the corresponding nation or region. So, like, for example, in America, they're going to put a false image of the false white Jesus. In Islamic countries, in the Middle East, they're going to put, the image of Muhammad. In Asian countries, they're going to put the image of Buddha and possibly Krishna for India, and it's going to be all across the screen, and they're all going to be talking in all different languages. They have the technology to do this. They're going to be using optical holograms and sounds, laser projections of multiple holographic images to different parts of the world. That is how they're going to deceive you. That is how they're going to fool you. It's going to be a space show. It's going to be all fake images. The results of this deliberately staged false Christ will be for the implementation of a new universal religion. Enough tricks will be foisted on us to hook us into the lie. The project is the ability to take up a whole bunch of people as in a rapture type of situation and to whisk the whole bunch into Never Never Land. Why do you think you're seeing those cities in the sky in China? Why do you think you're constantly seeing that stuff? I'll tell you why. Because they're preparing for the false illusion. They're preparing for the world's greatest deception. They're preparing for this project right now, and they need to make sure they have all their cards. And what they're going to do is they're going to use the technology in order to stage a false rapture. So for all you rapture believing Christians out there who are under the sound of my voice, do not be fooled when this false Messiah comes, because it will come here in America as the form of the white Jesus, and then it will quote unquote rapture certain people because they have the technology to do that, to make them go to like a quote unquote Never Never Land, like those secret cities you've been seeing in China and hearing about. The calculated resistance of the New World religion, the New World Order, and the new Messiah will be on a massive scale in the ensuing holy wars. The Blue Beam Project will pretend to be the universal fulfillment of the prophecies of old as nature and even as that which took place 2,000 years ago. Here we go. In principle, it will make use of the sky as a movie screen. A space-based laser generating satellite projects simultaneous images to the four corners of the planet in every language and in every dialect according to region. It deals with the religious aspect of the New World Order and is a large-scale seduction. They're deceiving you. The sky will be turned into a movie screen when the world is just completely beyond catastrophic and destructive. Then what's going to happen? Then they're going to use ELF and VLF and LF waves and optical phenomena. Then the projection, when you see the false Christ, or if you see the false Muhammad in Islamic countries, or the false Buddha in Asian countries, or the false Krishna in Indian religion countries, they're going to merge into one. after explanation of the mysteries, prophecies, and revelation would have been disclosed. And this one God will in fact be the Antichrist, who will explain the various scriptures that have been misunderstood, that the religions of all responsible for turning brother against brother, nation against nation. Then the world's religions must be abolished to make way for the golden age, the new age of the one world religion, representing the one God Antichrist in this instance that they see before them. This is how Satan will unveil himself before the world, to unite all the religions. Now it goes on to talk about step 3, which is talking about how they plan to do this with the mental psyop. It will be, the third step will be the telepathic electronical two-way communication, where ELF, VLF, and LF waves will reach the people of the earth by the inside of their brain, making each one to believe that it is their own God talking to each one of them within their own soul. They're going to use these waves, and they already have the technology and the satellites ready to go. They're going to use them so that they can fool you into thinking that Jesus, Buddha, Muhammad, or Krishna are talking to you when they are in fact not. Such waves, they even tell you that they've been doing this technology since the 1970s, 80s, and 90s, as well as the technology with all languages. You see, Google has the program, the Google language. They have all the languages. The technology is here, folks. It is getting you ready for the new world order. And they want to do this through the false Messiah. And this is how they're going to do it, with these ELF waves, to trick you into believing that this is in fact the Messiah when it is in fact not. Why? Mind control. That is what they're doing. They have the technology to influence politics, influence the mind, just like they're doing it through videos and doing it through TV. They have the technology, folks. And now they're also going to make it seem like there's a major rapture going on. And then the fourth step after all of this will be the coming alien deception. They're going to make it seem like that there's a huge threat coming, that there's going to be aliens, and oh, they're going to take over the planet. We have to unite as a one world government. It's coming, folks. And I'm just curious to see, let's just take a look at this to make sure. They have the technology, folks. It's all here. You can see it for yourself. Look at the capabilities here. Precision projection of 3D visual images into a selected area, supports PSYOP and strategic deception management, provides deception and cloaking against optical sensors. They have the technology and the projectors with these planes and drones and everything that they're using. The projectors are here, and they're used for PSYOPs and strategic perception management. That's what these alphabet soup agencies are doing. Not only that, but they use lasers, optics, power systems, image processing, holographic displays, everything. When you see those planes and when you see the chemtrails in the sky, those chemtrails are also being used in order to project holograms onto the screen. That they're a 2-for-1. Not only are they poisoning the air and poisoning us, but they're also making a holographic projection in the screen, which they will use worldwide to implement the false Messiah via Project Bluebeam. I will leave links below so that you can take a look at this stuff for yourself and see the greatest hoax that is about to be perpetrated on the entire world. Not just American people, not just you Hebrew Israelites, everyone, and even the elect will be deceived. Do not be deceived, my friends. Come into truth, get out of the lies, do your research, and may Yah be with you. Peace and shalom.